Did the 2024 free agent class tell us that the NFL should start paying running backs? We're going to cover that and more today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate you all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. Terms and conditions apply.
Joe, happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Victory Monday to the Baltimore Ravens fans.
Do you still call it Victory Monday if you win on a Thursday?
It's Victory Friday, but Victory Monday is kind of the every day after a win is a Victory Monday because there is no better day than a Victory Monday, right? Like
for sure, yeah.
Mondays and their association in general population is kind of the start of the week and blah and ho hum and like the polar opposite of that being a Victory Monday. Like I think every post-victory day should be recognized with the same enthusiasm as a Victory Monday.
Okay, cool. Good take. Way to get things going.
Well, that's a good segue into Takes on Takes, which is our weekly fan mailbag. Joe solicits them at the Joe Marino on the Twitter.com. We are looking at all of your takes, or as many takes as Joe has collected for us, but that includes something about unbreakable records, first-round player trades, whether or not we need to pay running backs or not. Again, after what? I think the stat is the top 3 rushing leaders right now or players that sign free agent contracts this offseason with the new team.
Yeah,
that's kind of the polar opposite of historically what the success rate of those contracts has looked like.
Correct. So what's fun is I know exactly what the takes are. Kyle doesn't. So let's work through it. In the first one,
under the bus, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not throwing you under the bus. It's the structure of the show. I put it together and kind of the fun, like, instant reaction piece of it. Peter says the 2024 free agent class of running backs features stars like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, and DeAndre Swift, has proven that elite running backs still bring game-changing playmaking ability when placed in the right situation. Given their impact so far this season, NFL teams should seriously reevaluate how they value and structure deals for this position. Circumstantial a little bit, right?
Yes. I want to say yes, but I'm also cognizant of positional value norms and opportunity costs. And if you do that, what does that look like? And historically speaking, guys that sign new deals in new places do not have success. I think maybe some of these teams that had the opportunity to re-sign these guys were just bad. So it's Derrick Henry with the Titans going into a new era of a player that had a unique opportunity to go somewhere else and went to the team they've been flirting with trading for him at the deadline the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an age versus reset circumstance. And the Giants and Raiders are just bad football teams that don't want to pay their running backs.
Yeah.
Right. Now, kudos to Philly and kudos to Green Bay for choosing to say, here's our cherry on top player. I guess Carolina is maybe leaning into this a little bit with the Chuba Hubbard contract extension. We got to get rid of Miles Sanders' contract this offseason. We traded up for Jonathan Brooks. Was it you that invoked Carolina historical spending at running back?
Oh, brother.
Paying 2 running backs with Taylor and D'Angelo Williams or Jonathan Stewart.
Don't forget Mike Tolbert came into the mix there. They gave him a 4-year, $12 million deal. Things I will never forget.
So I want to lean into on this, but I think you probably need a little bit better sample size of not 30-year-old running back not getting paid by rebuilding team and 2 bad teams that didn't want to pay running backs relative to what else they need on their roster.
Well, I'm also fascinated to see how this applies to the future, right? We just saw Chuba Hubbard get extended. We've already seen Ramondre Stevenson get extended from the 2021 class. Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams. What do things look like for that group of players? And then you have a group of players that are extension eligible after the season in Breece Hall, in Kenneth Walker, in James Cook. From that 2022 class those are like
some good players. Right,
for their teams. Like, are these guys going to get paid or not? We'll see how much this crop influences that. It's different. Kyle's calling a timeout here early. John here. He's got a challenge the next day. It's going to be amazing.
We talked in the pre-show about a billion things, but one of the things we talked about was the draft class for 25. If it's good or not, because I put out a top 100. You know what is a really deep position in this year's draft class?
I'm guessing running back. I saw Ray Garvin's tweet using some expletives to celebrate how good this class was.
It is a very deep running back class, which is not going to help the case.
Right.
All these cats trying to get second contracts.
Right.
And get paid the big bucks.
Chad says, take the point after touchdown to tie rather than going for 2 to win in the last second is so dumb. One short play to win versus going the length of the field, and it's 50-50 if you even get a chance to do so. Of course, this came up last night. The Burrow and the Bengals are in that position. They go for 2. They don't get it. And then, of course, what happened with Todd Bowles in Arrowhead, not going for 2, going for the tie, and then losing in overtime.
Would you believe in Miami land there was criticism for not going for 2 with 1 minute and 38 seconds left after Miami scored a touchdown?
I was hoping that they, as a fan of the team, I was hoping that they would kick the extra point. Yeah. They were going to get a 2-point conversion. The Bills weren't stopping them. There's no chance.
Yeah, but with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. I think there's a conversation to be had. If there is 5 seconds or less left on the game clock when you score, and you can authentically end the game there. Yes or no?
Yes.
You can have the conversation. But these instances where there's a minute left, like that's
38 seconds and 2 timeouts for Lamar, right?
That's a lot of time still. I mean, you've seen teams do it in 13 seconds.
I honestly don't know what you're talking
about. But that being my point, like,
yeah,
especially now with the kickoff rules.
Yeah.
You start at 30, like you need 25 yards. Buffalo did that to Miami, and they completed 2 passes for 10 yards, but they got a 15-yard penalty.
Right.
And
they got 25 yards. Right.
They were still in position to kick the game-winning field goal because of field goal kickers. So somebody had sent me the numbers, hoping that this stat was going to come up. Per Sport Radar, in the last minute of regulation since 2000, do you think going for 2 or kicking the extra point has a better win percentage?
What's the criteria?
Per Sport Radar, teams that go for PAT down 1 in final minute of regulation versus teams that go for 2.
I don't know what this is going to say. I hope that it's convincing. That's my hope.
Teams that go for 2 since 2000, down 1 in the final minute of regulation, are 10-15 since 2000. So that's a 40% win percentage. Teams that kick the extra point are 37, 49, and 2, which is a 43% win percentage.
It's negligible. It's close, right?
But it's big enough. Kick the extra point. Unless it's the last play of the game.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's a minute. There's more that goes into it. Here's where I'm at, dude. I'm not giving elite quarterbacks more chances to beat me.
Right.
So that plays into it. But I do agree that there's got to be like that's not enough data. I need to know more about time. I need to know about timeouts,
Yes, I agree. And I think the field position battle hurts this argument even more.
Right.
With the kickoff rules.
Generally speaking, my rule is I don't want to give elite quarterbacks more chances to beat me. So if the time and timeouts suggest that they will have that opportunity reasonably,
kick the extra point. Or if you feel like you cannot give them an opportunity, go for the 2 and end the game.
Yeah. Okay, we got a ton more to get to. Lots of fun stuff, especially on the other side of it. We got a celebrity animal to get into as well, so be sure to stick with us. For most of us that like collecting cards, the idea of spending $2,000 or more on a Patrick Mahomes rookie card just isn't in the cards. I love collecting, but that's some serious money to drop. Thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com, now it's possible to score gem mints for a fraction of their retail price. Arena Club is the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. Arena Club slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. After your pulls are revealed, they'll immediately be placed in your showroom for safekeeping, selling, trading, or auction. The Arena Club grading process is accurate, fast, and transparent with a full grade rationale provided and explanation of how your card was scored. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Card is the card collecting platform that you got to check out. So right now, check it out. You can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL. That's arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL, code LockedOnNFL for 10% off your first purchase. Guys, ever feel like you need a little boost in the bedroom? It's time you stopped worrying about your performance and got Hims so you can feel confident knowing that you can perform whenever you're in the mood. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Just answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you in discreet packaging for free. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Speaking of the doctor, first general physical in about 15 years today.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Rooting for you. Looking forward
to
it.
Got kids now. We got to make sure we're on top of all that kind of stuff.
It's the 2 of them, Make sure you're good to go. Make sure the ticker's ticking like it's supposed to.
It's like how much of my just general exhaustion is just normal from having 2 kids versus
oh no. Is Kyle slowing down a little bit here?
Yeah, I tell you, I feel it. Although our household has started to be a little bit more regular with sleeping through the night, with the exception of last night because both were up twice.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I'm not looking for pity. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody who's got kids has been there, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the stand-up comedy bit about when you first get pregnant and everybody's like, "Oh, it's such a wonderful experience." And then when the babies come, they're like, "Why didn't you tell me it was going to be like this?"
Yeah.
Because we wanted you to join.
Yeah,
it is the best thing. It is so wonderful, but man, the first year is a marathon, isn't it?
It is a marathon, and so is the amount of questions. Right, we're pushing 5 years old here with Rebecca in January, and the questions, man. I'm just like. I don't know how to answer half of this.
Never thought of it that way. It's like,
and they never stop, so there's like an extra layer to trying to answer questions that you've seen the meme that's Yoda. It's like, I don't know anything about Yoda and how he dies, but apparently he's just answering a bunch of questions and eventually just dies. I get it. I get it.
So you're Yoda. You're Yoda now.
I feel like I'm Yoda, man. The other day I'm like trying to take a shower and I'm like, baby, I don't know, sweetie. I don't know. Sam Teets says only 2 quarterbacks go in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. Feels aggressive, right?
I know the momentum right now is Nussmeier should go back, Aller should go back, Milroe should go back. So if you look at it from that frame of mind, that's QB's 3, 4, and 5 right now. Generally, things currently stand. So now you're looking at a big void after the top 2 guys. I would still probably set the over under at 2.5, just because you would think one of those three fringe guys, if you know that's the landscape, somebody maybe takes the jump and is like, hey, I'm opportunistically going to be here with all of this need that exists at the position to be the third guy, because you'll still get drafted high.
Right.
So that would be, I'd set it at 2.5.
And you might not go to a crap team.
Right.
Somebody's going to pick you. I'll say that this is false.
But I don't think there's more than 3 at this stage.
Yeah, that feels heavy. We got a 2-parter from Phil. Let's deal with part 1. The Bears will fire their first head coach ever during the season this year. Matt Eberflus getting fired in season. Kind of be surprised, right? I wouldn't hate the idea, but feels like a postseason.
I mean, so how bad does this have to spiral for this to happen? You get the Patriots this week, so you're going to be 5-4, presumably. Although we both picked the Patriots to win. Then Green Bay, Minnesota, at Detroit, at San Francisco, at Minnesota,
Yikes.
Detroit.
Yikes! L's are coming for the Bears.
So they've got 2 Thursday games. I think that's worth acknowledging here. If this is going to happen, you usually take it off the heels of an extended break, right? You get a little couple extra days. Don't do it like the Jets, where you come home on a Monday and
from London,
do it on Tuesday for a game on Sunday. At Detroit on Thanksgiving is a game this year on a Thursday, obviously. And then their next game is not until Sunday, December 8th at San Francisco. The other Thursday game is the day after Christmas. Just feel like that's a week 17 game. That's so late in the season. Like, what's the point of doing it after? Get
ahead of your search, right?
I guess you could. Theoretically.
As soon as I'm done, I'm done. That's what I would do. If I'm done, if I was an owner making a decision, I realize you are not the coach that's going to lead me forward, we're done.
I'd still probably say no, but like this schedule's going to get really rough for Chicago.
Eric Washington, Thomas Brown, potential interims. Okay, the other part of Phil's question is critically important here. Pesto the Penguin has first-round draft pick measurables. And so here's the question, Kyle, because I've done the research. I spent time learning about Pesto the Penguin this morning. You know anything about this guy? He's a viral animal.
I'm looking at him right now.
All right, so I'll catch people up here.
The brown penguin?
Yeah, well, he's a baby. When he was born, he weighed less than half a pound. He's getting older. He's a juvenile penguin. He's ballooned in size. He's now tipping the scales at 50 pounds. And for comparison, adult king penguins, they weigh between 31 and 37 pounds. Pesto is the biggest chick Sea Life Melbourne has ever had. Eats 25 fish a day. Rainbow trout. He's 50 pounds, but I got to get.
He's a baby.
He's a baby. Well, he's a juvenile. Listen to this though. Eats 25 fish a day, sand whiting, rainbow trout, and salmon. But here's the thing. This is, I think, people are missing. He's going to get down to 33 pounds. These king penguins, when they're born, they're like fluffy penguins, and they lose all these feathers. And with that comes a lot of weight loss. So he's big and fluffy, and he's, whatever. Remember that hip with the hippo? There's the viral hippo. I forgot his name.
Mudang.
That one, yeah. I think we're looking for more celebrity animals here, and I think that maybe this is really a normal king penguin. And the celebrities are in on this. I watched Katy Perry have an encounter with Pesto. I'm well versed on this.
We're trying a little too hard here, right?
I think so. He's big and fluffy, and I think that's probably helpful for going viral.
Did you see? I would take the Emmanuel the emo over both of these animals. That was the emu, the girl on the farm, and she trying to like set up the camera and like talk about the farm, and the emu kept coming up and like attacking the camera and like stole the camera and all that. Like,
seen this, yeah.
I take that dude because he authentically created the moment instead of just being like a pygmy hippo that's cute that everybody like.
Right, there's the normal one. There's
just doing normal things, or this baby penguin or juvenile penguin that's just doing juvenile penguin things, and everybody's like, "Oh, look, he's big," but then if that's a normal part of his life cycle to shed the feathers, then like I don't care.
My take here, though, I think this is the important part. My take is that the king penguin is the coolest looking penguin. I mean, all of a sudden they're like orange and yellow with like cool shades of like dark black and gray. I mean, these are cool looking penguins.
There's 18 different types of penguins.
I know. There's a lot of variety. I've seen Surf's Up. All right. I've seen it.
No, the Gen 2 penguin's the coolest looking penguin.
How do you spell that?
That's the one with like the yellow eyebrows. GENTOO penguin.
With the yeah, I've seen this. The pictures that I'm getting here are not real. This looks like the normal penguin here.
All right, well then maybe I got the wrong penguin. Maybe
I
we
think
should
you got the
move
wrong
on from
one.
penguins.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Robert says the Raiders will have the most attractive head coach opening this offseason.
No.
High draft pick, cap space, amazing facilities, no state income tax. The owner will pay Max Crosby, Tom Brady, etc. Is it better than let's do the thing. Is it better than the Jets? Would you rather be the head coach of the Raiders or the Jets?
The Raiders.
Would you rather be the head coach of the Raiders or the Saints?
Raiders.
So far, it's on track. Depends on what comes free. If the Bears, would you rather have the Bears job or the Raiders job?
Is the Raiders job going to be open?
I don't know.
We're obviously assuming we're living in the hypothetical world where it is open. Like, I think Chicago would be more attractive.
Is the Chicago job going to be open? Probably.
You
can see the case that he's making, right? We'll see. As of right now, it is.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, I'd want that job.
He's been loyal to a fault. The shotgun's been loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
you got a quarterback that you can work with. You got some talent. You got a stud wide receiver.
As long as I don't have to continue with Trent Baalke, I'll take that job. And as long as I can make the throwbacks the permanent uniforms also.
Let's see what other jobs are going to be open.
Dallas. No, don't want it.
Now, too much of a circus, right?
Don't want it.
Tampa.
I would want it.
You would want it.
Yeah, for sure.
What about
Cleveland?
Wouldn't want it.
Nope.
Might be up there.
Raiders, yeah.
I think that the challenge is you're now looking at the Chargers, got a jump start on you with their rebuild, and they have the quarterback. And the Broncos got a jump start on you with their rebuild. They invested in quarterback. It's not a sure thing, but they also have Sean Payton. And then you have Kansas City. It's like, that's a big hole to climb out of.
Yeah. Okay, we got a bunch more. We'll work through it here on the other side of it. Be sure to stick with us. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role, and that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. So hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Folks, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. And folks, I hope you got in on that Bengals line. They were plus 6.5. They obviously covered that. I raked up last night, Kyle. I'm up 7.5 units from my props that I had last night. Obviously, with that type of offensive explosion, I think anybody that took advantage of the props worked out, except for if you were an under better, you probably were feeling pretty good about that. And then, then the third quarter happened and then things really took off. So get in on the action, folks. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Two things.
Yep.
T's and P's to anybody who went against Jamar Chase in fantasy last night.
Yeah.
Also, very rude of you to say if you had any props, you probably hit the over. As a avid Zay Flowers fantasy owner, see Baltimore score 35 points and Zay Flowers have 4 catches for 34 yards.
Yeah.
And watch everybody else take
Tylan
out
Wallace.
routes, 80 yards for a touchdown, and Rashad Bateman going crazy, and Lamar doing his thing. So I just, for all of the Zay Flowers fantasy representation out there that's a listener of the show, I'm cursing you for just assuming that everybody prospered with their investments last night.
Zay burned me a couple times this year, and I've said I'm not messing with him anymore on props. Because he's very, very productive. But he's not immune to 1 catch, 11 yards, 1 for 10, 3 for 20, 4 for 34, Yes.
So I am aware.
Yeah, I didn't trust it. Let's see here. The next one today comes from Matt. It's going to be a very long time before the next NFL trade for an active player for a first-round draft pick. It's already been 500 days since the last one. I think it'll be at least another 500 days, if not 3 to 4 years before the next player for a first-round.
I'll sell this just off the numbers.
Well, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. This feels like a ripe opportunity to do it. If you're going to make that type of trade, go do it right now.
Well, not now. Trade deadline pass.
Yeah, sure, but this offseason would make sense. You're picking somewhere like 22. Like, I don't know, man.
Right. Go get an established player, except that it's going to come with a contract, and
that's the hang up, right? It's the paying the player part. Everybody wants. It's a limited resource environment. Yeah, you'd love to have the proven player, but then you're probably talking about, let's be honest, you're trading a first round pick. It's north of $30 million a season.
Right.
And it's probably not just a first round pick. Yeah, I understand why there's less of an appetite for this. FTS Matt says Jeff Ulbrich will be the first interim head coach to be fired in NFL history.
No, I don't think so.
That'd be nuts, right?
Who's left? I mean, they gave him the keys, saying we expect him to get consideration for the actual job. So
I'm not sure that. I don't really that message.
You just gonna give it to Aaron? Be like, just coach the team too.
Todd Downing, Nathaniel Hackett, Marquand Manuel. No, he's going to hold on to this thing.
He's good. He's good.
This is from Von Tell. He called it an extremely hot take. Walter Nolan. Next time we do prospects, can we do this guy? Sure. Will destroy the combine and be the first defensive player drafted from the SEC next year. So that'd be Malachi Starks feels like the contender, right?
From
Nick Scorton.
SEC.
Yeah, I don't really know
what teams are in the SEC these days.
Right. Malachi Starks.
So Georgia's got Malachi Starks.
Jalen
Walker.
Nick Scorton. Texas A&M.
James Pierce from Tennessee.
Oklahoma's in there, yeah. Don't forget that.
Right, yeah. I'm looking at all 30 teams.
Texas.
All 30 teams in the SEC. I'm going to say no on this. I think Jalen Walker will go in front of him. Jalen Walker, linebacker / pass rusher type for Georgia, has had an outstanding season. I think he's also going to test really, really well, super explosive. I think Walter Nolan can crack the top 25, but I think you'll see a couple of those other guys going in the top 20.
Here's a fun one from Jairus. Emmitt Smith's rushing records, yards and touchdowns, are more unbreakable than Jerry Rice's receiving records, which have long been considered the most unbreakable records in the NFL.
What's the trends of the game, right? I think that's the argument there. Players don't get unquestioned 350 touch authority over an offensive backfield anymore.
Correct.
So
I think it's more likely that somebody would break Jerry Rice's records, even though they're insane.
I mean, Emmitt averaged 332 carries per season for 15 years.
Nobody's coming close to that.
Correct.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Emmitt Smith, but part of his records was the longevity on a good Dallas defense, and there's just going to be a lot of volume, like a lot of opportunity. He's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but like that much opportunity over that much time being available is huge.
When you put the passing game in here, he averaged 370 touches per season for 17 years or for 15 years.
You think anybody gets 200? You think Bruce Smith, 200 sacks? You think anybody gets that?
I think eventually somebody will hunt that down.
More likely than the. I agree, but I feel
more
like that's
likely than the other ones.
We've had Chandler Jones was on the pace a little bit, and he fell off the face of the earth.
TJ Watt do it?
What's he at right now? What's his age and number?
This is his age 30 season.
Okay.
He turned 30 on October 11th, so less than a month ago.
Okay.
He's 103.
So he's got to get 94 more sacks. 94.
98.
Right?
He has 103. The record is 200. 200 minus 93 is...
Sorry. Yep. Gotcha.
Draft 98.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Glad we can do that.
98 more sacks.
I mean, he needs to get like 15. He needs like, I think it's possible. That's
pretty decent trajectory. He only had one season where he missed time. I mean, he went 15, 22 and a half, 5.5, then back to 19. He's on pace right now for about 14 this season.
Well, and longevity was big for Bruce Smith. After age 30, I mean, how many sacks did Bruce Smith have after age 30? 14, 10, 10 and a half, 13 and a half, 14, 10, 7, 10, 5, 9, 5.
Like, if TJ Watt does that, then yeah, he's going to get it.
Right. If TJ Watt does that, he's going to shatter it, is what he's going to do. He probably had more sacks before 30 than Bruce had. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I was just going to say, Jerry Rice is the other question here.
Yeah.
Was it receptions, yards, touchdowns, or all of the above?
I think he's got all of it, but he specifically highlights yards.
20
yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, the touchdown pace for Jerry's pretty crazy, dude.
Dude, he had a this is a stretch of 1987 to 1995. 15, 22, 9, 17, 13, 14, 10, 15, 13, 15.
Yeah. That's outrageous.
Come on.
I don't think anybody will get that.
Lord. Yeah. All right, let's get a couple quick ones here. From Michael, Peyton Manning should be considered by an NFL team, specifically the Jets, to run their football operations. His obsession to detail and need to win would make him an ideal candidate if he wanted a job. Of course, right? If he wanted a job. If that's what Peyton wants.
I think that's a totally different... It's like we saw John Elway step into a role like that. Dan Marino stepped into a role like that and lasted 2 weeks. I don't know. Like that's such a different beast. It's a totally different wing of the football. Peyton's not going to want to sit here and meticulously go over salary cap management. And
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? It's like he's going to want to get in the film room with the quarterbacks and chop up the offensive game plan. Like,
is there a successful situation of like a quarterback, like a high profile quarterback like that, becoming a football czar and it working? Or do we just romanticize about this type of stuff?
I think we just romanticize about this kind of stuff. So I'd pass on hiring Peyton for that. He wants to get in coaching, great.
Let's close with this. A weekly huddle. It's beyond time for Kyle and Joe to name their audience for this podcast. Chat GPT suggestions. Draft Dudes Nation, Scout Squad, Dude Heads, Draft Dwellers, Locked On Legion, Scouting Soldiers, Dude Huddle, Draft Dude, Dynasty, Scout Synergy, Gridiron Gang, and Prospect Pack.
I don't like any of these.
Yeah, I didn't like any of those either. I don't hate the idea for naming the audience. So if you have ideas,
you know what Trevor Sigma and Connor Rogers call their podcast listeners?
What's the stock exchange, right? So what is
they
it?
Call them the addicts because it's the stock exchange. What's the first letter in stock and then the first two letters of exchange? Addicts.
Yeah. I don't. Well,
we don't have that kind of branding, right?
You know, man, I did. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So maybe
That's
we
good.
need to tap into Trevor, who's obviously a longtime buddy of ours, and we've been doing it for a really long time. Be like, hey, this is what we got working. What can you cook up for us? So maybe everybody else can think about it too. Let us know what kind of branding ideas you have for the show, and we'll lean into any that we really like. So that's going to do it for us here on Locked On NFL Scouting. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He is Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. That's it for us for now. We're out of here.